Coming up today on Taking Over Tottenham, we have January transfer deadline day. What business will we do with the 70 odd million that we did have at the end of yesterday's episode? And off the back of that, we are going to take on Blackburn in the Premier League. That's coming up after the intro. And welcome back to episode number 19 of Taking Over Tottenham here on Shaun Does FM. I hope you are doing well, and if you're looking forward to this one, as I said, January transfer deadline day, and we're taking on Blackburn in the Premier League, then do remember to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you're enjoying this series and what you see football manager wise on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. It is greatly appreciated. But we are about to start transfer deadline day, and those of you who would have seen the end of yesterday's episode will notice that our transfer budget has gone down since then. So before we crack into this, we will go through the transfers that we have made since the end of yesterday's episode, which, if you missed, it included a Premier League game against Manchester United. I'll leave a link to that above my head in the top right corner, but we'll go over to the transfer history. And you can see that in the end, we did decide to add Dwight McNeil. We couldn't quite guarantee that we were going to get Jude Bellingham in this transfer window. It could still happen on deadline day. We'll see what happens. But in the end, we decided to get the English 23-year-old to replace more or less Ryan Sessegnon, who left for Hertha Berlin, spending 35 million up front for the former Burnley man and another additional 6 million on add-on. So overall, the cost of this transfer, 41 million. Very solid player who's going to be operating as a second, third choice left winger for us, and he can play quite a few positions as well. Very versatile, good squad player, and has a bit more potential and current ability than Ryan Sessegnon as well. So feel like we've done a decent upgrade there, a more versatile player with a bit more potential. Dwight McNeil joining us from Burnley, and that is why in our transfer budget at the moment for deadline day, we do have 42 and a little bit million pounds instead of the 77 that we did have at the end of yesterday's episode, albeit still have a very large wage budget of £220,000 there. You can see some of the rumours for deadline day. Apparently we're interested in Jota, Mendy and Weigl. Apparently there is some interest in Dele Alli, but unfortunately it is only on loan, and the same for Harvey White. Those deals will not be happening. The only player who's generating transfer interest is Oliver Skip for 25 million to Leeds. That's probably not one that would accept anyway. Hopefully we can try and get rid of Dele Alli. That's the first thing I'm going to try and do once we start deadline day, try and get rid of him. And also I'm considering getting rid of Steven Bergwijn, because since Angelo has joined us from Santos, he has overtaken Bergwijn to become the second choice right winger and behind Jesus Corona. And we do also have Yusuf Demir at the club as well, who can go out on that right wing. So Steven Bergwijn, despite being a recent World Cup winner, if we can get some money for him, try and get some money for Dele Alli, then maybe those two transfers could help us land Jude Bellingham for that £90 million release clause. So the first thing I'm going to do on deadline day is try and get rid of those guys. If there's no interest at all, I think we're going to change our tactic and go looking for some wonder kids who you guys can enjoy when we do end this last season of this Taking Over Tottenham save. So we're going to take part in deadline day. We'll try and get rid of Ali and Bergwijn, as I said. And if that doesn't happen, we'll come back and have a look at some youngsters who hopefully we can get our hands on instead of Jude Bellingham. Okay, so we've gone forward a few hours on deadline day, tried to get rid of both Dele Alli and Steven Bergwijn. There is absolutely no interest at all. So I don't think we're going to be able to get Jude Bellingham, unfortunately, but that does mean we're going to try and get some youngsters for the future here at Tottenham. Not too sure if we'll even keep these players for the remainder of this season. We might just loan them back out to the clubs that we purchased them from. But as you can see on screen, free talents who are very highly rated, all young players who would not have to be registered. So good additions to the squad here at Tottenham. We have Benjamin Sesko, Jesper Jensen and Arsene Zakalayan, all very promising players with very high scout ratings. So we are going to work our way through this list, if we add up all those transfer values, we certainly have enough money to pull off all three of these deals, and it gives a really nice base for the future of this Tottenham club, even though we're not really going to be continuing beyond this season. I will leave a save file at the end of the season for you guys to pick up from, and that will be a nice base of youngsters for future success here at Tottenham. But first up on the list is Benjamin Sesko, the 19-year-old Slovenian striker who currently finds himself at Red Bull Salzburg, valued between 11 million and 16 million pounds. Our scouts really like the look of this guy, and it is not hard to see why. Apparently they're not prepared to sell him mid-season, but we have asked the agent about that fee, and it is in that 11 to 16 ballpark. So we'll offer them the 11 up front, and they only want, after 10 league goals, 2.2 million in add-ons and a percentage of next sale. So we'll just talk that down to 1.5 million. We'll try and just eke that upfront fee down a little bit. We'll keep that percentage of profit from next sale, as it's not going to affect me too much, and they are very happy with that deal, only spending 12.5 million and percentage of profit from selling him on of Benjamin Sesko. So that deal does look like it's going to happen. Next up, Jesper Jensen, a 16-year-old Danish right winger, looks like another player with quite good promise. Lots of pros, a few cons, but again, for a very low transfer fee, this guy valued between 275,000 and 4.1 million. We will try and make an offer for him. He is another very promising player, although he is unlikely to get a work permit. So that stuffs that one up. I think we're going to move on from Jesper Jensen, which is a bit of a shame. 16 years old, definitely one for the future, but looks like he's unlikely to get a work permit. So I think we're going to have to move on from Jesper Jensen. Looks like we'll be getting 2 young Wonderkids in instead of 3 in this transfer window. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But next up is an attacking midfielder, come winger, and Arsen Zakulayan, a Russian 19-year-old at Dynamo Moscow. Another player, as you would have seen before, very good potential. His transfer value is pretty much the same as Benjamin Sesko because he has a release clause in his contract. So we'll see if we can go in a little bit under that to try and get this Russian off of Dynamo Moscow. So we'll just try and put a sneaky offer in for a little bit less than that. We'll work our way down to 10 million. They will not accept it. So he looks quite good, to be honest. 11.25 million transfer release clause, and we will trigger that. So 2 potential signings here for the future at Tottenham, Sesko and Zakulayan, and we'll come back and see what sort of contracts those guys want. And both of those offers, as expected, have been accepted, and we are now about to negotiate terms with both teams. You can see that they are both asking for the player back on loan for the rest of the season, and to be fair, I think we will allow that. So these deals are for the future. So if you want to skip over this to the start of the actual gameplay part of the episode, completely understand that. But if you are going to be picking up the save when we do finish this series, then this would be worth sticking around for. We'll see what we can sign these guys for, players who should prove quite valuable to Tottenham when you do pick up the save. Sesko wanting between 47.5 and 69,000 a week. Nice little number there from Sesko. Wants to be a squad player immediately as he is going out on loan. Not too worried about that. We'll try and talk him down to fringe player. He wants to be a squad player. Quite happy with that. He's not going to be here for the rest of the season anyway. 68,000 up front. We'll try and talk that down to 60. That's a pretty decent wage for a player of quite high potential. He's going to try and negotiate his way up to a higher contract. We'll move it up a little bit as well as a signing on fee and leave the wage after so many club league games where it was. Again, he wants a little bit of an increase. We'll up it again to 70,000. Hopefully he will accept this deal, and indeed he does. So Benjamin Sesko should be joining us here on transfer deadline day, albeit as you can see here, he is going to be heading straight back out on loan to Red Bull Salzburg. We don't really need another striker here at the club at the moment with Demir, with Belotti, and with Harry Kane. Zakulayan wants a slightly lower wage, same squad role. We'll give him the squad player exactly like what we gave to Benjamin Sesko. Very similar quality players. As you can see, that wage is quite a bit low. We'll still try and talk it down somewhere in between that estimated wage range. So we'll try and get it down to 40,000, bump up the signing on fee and the agent fee again. That does seem to help and getting those wages down, and we'll get rid of those unused substitute and yearly wage rise fees as well. Bump that agent fee up a little bit more because we'll talk down these wages after so many club games. He wants to go up to 57. We'll talk that down a fair bit here. We'll get it down to 42.5. Bump up that signing on fee and agent fee again. He accepts that as well. 42.5 thousand. Ryan should be coming into Tottenham, but again, we'll be going straight back out on loan to Dinamo Moscow. So 2 Wonderkid signings here for the future, looking like they're going to be taking place here on January deadline day. And the first of those signings is about to be accepted. Benjamin Sesko, 11 million up front, another 1.5 million in add-ons once he gets 10 league goals for Tottenham. He will join us, albeit going straight back out on loan to Red Bull Salzburg. Benjamin Sesko joining us. And straight off the back of that, Arsene Zakarian also accepts his contract. Very similar fee, but no add-ons for this guy. 11.25 million up front. Again, going straight back out on loan to Dinamo Moscow, but 2 players for the future here at Tottenham. And that is the end of our deadline day, unfortunately, with those deals for Ali and Bergwijn. No one being interested in them. We ended up going for Wonderkids instead of Jude Bellingham. That would have been a real improvement to the squad, but we have spent a big amount in that mid-season transfer window with the board pumping up both our wage budget and transfer budget, spending 74 after receiving 32 for Sessegnon and Benkovic. But we have brought in quite a bit of talent. McNeil and Angelo straight away, albeit we did pay for Angelo back in the January transfer window, and also Sesko and Zakarian for the future as well. So that wraps up deadline day. But before we get into the Blackburn game, it is time to run you guys through our results since we played yesterday's episode. First off, we took on Everton, all Premier League games, these ones, and it was a pretty dull affair, albeit we did pick up a winning goal in the first half, Harry Winks scoring just about 10 minutes shy of halftime, and that gave us a 1-0 win at Goodison Park. So that's a pretty good result in what was a bit of a tricky fixture for us late last year. And off the back of that, we had a London derby at Stamford Bridge against Chelsea. And the first half of this game was dominated by none other than Harry Kane. Took us until just shy of the 20-minute mark. Nice ball in the low one from Emerson Royale for the big Englishman, who taps it home into the bottom left corner. And we did go 1-0 up early, or no, not too long. Off the back of that, Chelsea did pull a goal back. Renan Lodi probably could have tried to clear that ball. Ziyech with a header. It's a bit of a soft goal to concede that 1-1 about halfway through the first half. But then right off the back of that, Harry Kane picked up a double. Corona slotting him through there to make it 2-1. And he completed a hat-trick from a free kick only a few minutes later. Somehow he was onside there. Looked like he was a fair way off, but he picked up a first half hat-trick. We were 3-1 up at half-time. Then it was Nianzou who got a header in the back of the net from a corner around the hour mark to put us 4-1 up. It felt fairly comfortable after that, but they did peg a few goals back late here, did Chelsea. Ziyech a bit poor from Onana in goal there, and then they got on the end one of his clearances with about 5 minutes to go. Mason Mount slots through Batshuayi, who is still at Chelsea, to make it 3-4, so it got a little bit nervy late, but we did hold on for a big 3 points away at Stamford Bridge in the London derby. Look at the stats, it was a pretty even game, but our chances were a bit better based on the XG there than Chelsea's. Held possession more and pick up another win in the Premier League. And off the back of that, a pretty comfortable win at home for us against Brentford, 3-0, with goals coming, once we can actually click on it, to Kane and Caligari. A late red card there for Brentford, but it didn't have too much of an impact on the game. And another win for us in the Premier League. So we've bounced back from that Manchester United result quite nicely, and what that means for the table is we are still in third. A bit of a gap on Manchester City in fourth. They're kind of floating a bit, kind of like we are as well, because we're still a few points off both Manchester United and Liverpool at the top of the table. If we can keep on winning games, we don't take on any big teams in the Premier League for a little while now, so we've got a good string of fixtures where we should be able to pick up some good results. I think the next big Premier League fixtures for us, we've got a few of them in March, either side of that Champions League knockout round tie. But coming up today, we take on Blackburn. They are in the relegation zone. We beat these guys 7-0 at home earlier this season, so it should be a good chance for us to pick up some points in the Premier League. And we will come back shortly from Ewood Park and run you guys through the team sheets. And here are the team sheets for this game. Blackburn on the left, not going to lie, My championship team knowledge is not too great, so can't really inform you guys whether they've made any big signings there in the second season of this save coming into the Premier League. In terms of us, we do have a few injuries going into this game, and one of them is in between the sticks. Onana has picked up a training injury since we last played, so Hugo Lloris finds himself in goal, and we do also have Oliver Skip in there for a slightly tired Ndombele in defensive midfield, and we also have chucked Yusuf Demir up front with both Kane and Belotti. A little bit tired at the moment, so we'll give Yusuf Demir a chance up front with Heung-min Son to captain the squad today, but pretty strong team still, and it should be a team that's capable of getting 3 points here at Ewood Park. 18 minutes gone, and we do have the first corner in the game. Playing in our dark blue today, Rodon with a header from the corner. It comes off the post though, cleared from Blackburn, and still 0-0. Up to the 43-minute now, and it is Blackburn playing out from the back. They have a lot of players on yellow cards, but we are dominating this game. Hopefully we don't let them in before half-time, otherwise we would be getting FM'd here in the snow at Ewood Park, as it was a bit difficult to pick up the ball there. Dembele puts that in the back of the net, albeit they are going to check this for offside, but that could be a bit of a concerning scoreline going into half-time if this goal is allowed, and luckily for us it is not. He is offside. We get away with one there. Suliki Dembele was just a straight offside, timed his run a little bit poorly, and it does remain 0-0 as we are about to head into half-time, as we'll tell Christian Romero just to ease off tackles just so he doesn't get a red card. But solid half, probably should be winning this game. We've had some really good chances, haven't put any in the back of the net, dominating things pretty well, but we'll tell the boys that we're not happy and see if we can get an improved performance out of them in the second half. Okay, up to the 53-minute mark here. No highlights so far in the second half, but we're going to make our first change. Jesus Colonna down to a yellow heart. We will see what Angelo can do for us out on the right wing, the very promising Brazilian who we got in from Santos recently. He can come on the field. Still 0-0 though. And up to the 60-minute mark here, still 0-0, nothing happening so far in the second half. I think it's time for us to bring on the big gun up front. We will take off Yusuf Demir, who's only been okay. Harry Kane in good touch can come on for him, and also take off Emerson Royale on a yellow card at the back, struggling a little bit for Caligari. Those are our free subs used, looking for a winning goal in this last half hour. 81 minutes gone here, and we finally have a highlight in the second half. Stats-wise, Blackburn have worked their way right into this game as Angelo does some nice little flair stuff on the ball there, something which is quite noticeable in the new match engine. Caligari over for Harry Kane, puts that beyond the Blackburn goalkeeper, and we do go 1-0 up, no offside check, and off the bench, Harry Kane picks up a goal, and Caligari with the assist. Angelo just turning on a dime quite nicely there. Rodon out to Caligari, Harry Kane with a nicely timed run. One of the centre-backs there, I think on the left-hand side, must have been playing him onside, and it is 1-0 with 8 minutes left to go in this game. And up to the 88-minute mark now, it is a throw for Blackburn as they look to get their way back into this game. We play a long ball forward for Harry Kane, who has provided us some good impact off the bench already, and Buckley brings him down on a yellow card. He is going to see red here, is John Buckley, and with only a few minutes to go, things are turning to custard just a little bit for Blackburn. And now in the 90th minute, we have a corner. Someone tries to get their head to it for us. Blackburn are able to clear it away, but Renan Lodi will tidy things up, and we go on the attack again, looking for a cushion goal to put this game beyond doubt. Skip to Lo Celso, back to Skip, now Renan Lodi. Good short passing ball over the top, picks out Angelo, puts it away in the bottom right corner now. Was he onside? I think he looked pretty safe there, and that could be the first goal for our new signing here at Tottenham. Kevin Friend asks VAR for clarification, and it's ruled out for offside, so that's a bit unfortunate for Angelo. Had his first goal for the club. You can see he's only just a stride offside there, not by much at all. Nearly made the most of the missed header by Pickering, but it will remain 1-0 for now, although that's a poor clearance there from the Blackburn goalkeeper, and Angelo back for Caligari. Another ball over the top, picks out Heung-min Son, lots of space. Can he seal it? You bet he can. Really good impact off the bench from the Brazilian right back Caligari. Those Brazilians on the right-hand side have both looked good since coming on the field in the second half, and he sets up another goal here, does Caligari. This time it is Heung-min Son, one-on-one with the goalkeeper, buries it in the bottom right corner, and just shy of full time, it is 2-0, and after getting our act into gear late in this game, it does look like we are going to seal 3 points, although we do have a late corner. Could we make it 3-0? It is put in Ramiro with the header just over the bar, and that is probably going to do things here at Ewood Park, and indeed it does. As I said, took us a little while to get going in that game. First bit of the second half wasn't great. You can tell by the stats they actually worked their way back into that game a little bit early in the second half, but once we made those substitutions just shy of the hour mark, we did kick into gear nicely. Goals to Kane and Son, and we pick up a 2-0 win at Ewood Park. And what that means for the league table is we are still in third now with an 8-point gap on Manchester City, albeit with a game in hand on them, 4 points behind Liverpool, albeit they have a game in hand on us, and Manchester United are top of the table with a game in hand on everyone. So we're kind of still floating in third position. It is fair to say going to need to get our act into gear a little bit more, keep winning the games that we're supposed to be winning in the second half of the season, and then try and beat both Man United, Liverpool, Man City, all those big games we're going to need to win in the second part of the season if we are going to mount a title challenge in the Premier League. But that will do it for today's episode. Deadline day, signing some players for the future here at Tottenham, and also beating Blackburn away from home, and they do still find themselves in the relegation zone alongside Brighton and Sheffield United. If you did enjoy today's episode, then do make sure to go down below, leave a thumbs up on the video, and if you haven't done so already and do enjoy the content here on the channel, also remember to hit that subscribe button and turn that notification bell on as well. If you have not checked out the first episode of Husavik Heroes, it is now live. I'll leave a link to that in the top right corner. That will be coming a bit more regularly at the start of the week once I have the weekend to sort out all the staff and players and get closer to finishing the gameplay part of this Taking Over Tottenham save. It should be a little bit quicker this one now that we have got through that last transfer window. In terms of when we're going to be coming back for the next episode, as I suggested, I think we'll come back for Manchester City, and if we need to come back for the second leg of that Champions League knockout against Sporting, we can come back for that as well. But as I said, I think we should be dealing with those guys fairly comfortably. So at the moment, we'll just come back for the Manchester City game, and I'll bring you guys the result of that Champions League tie during that episode. Anyway, so that's what's coming up tomorrow. But until then, thank you very much for watching. Keep on keeping on, and I'll see you then. Cheers.